Okay.
Thank you. You see, you can hear me, right?
I can hear you.
Okay.
You guys, hey, welcome back. It's another episode of the Pickles and Bacon Show Rewind. I am Pickles Krypton, and to my brother, and to my, well, on my right actually, but on your left, I think, is my brother Baconite.
Or in the top left corner, or top right corner,
somewhere.
Wherever I'm at, I'm just floating around through space. See what I did there?
Yes, it's all right. So, in case you didn't know, and you can see the beautiful blue eyes behind me, today our show is about the documentary Christopher Reeve Superman. So Baconite, tell us, what do you know about Christopher Reeve?
Well, I know that he played one of my favorite superheroes, as you just mentioned, Christopher Reeves. There's also a movie that I remember that my mom watched where he's like this kidnapper or something, and he has like this boy in this apartment. I hard for me to remember the name of the movie, but if I saw it again, I'd be like, oh, it's that one. And then I know that he did one on, oh my god, I want to say Brooke Ellison, and I hope I'm getting this right. Or is it Ray Ellison? No, it's Brooke Ellison.
Yeah, it's Brooke Ellison.
And sorry, Ray Ellison's street here in Texas. Anyway, but I know that he's one of the greatest Superman by far. I mean, other than George Reeves, more on him later. But yeah, I also find out some interesting stuff on him in these documentaries. So
same. All right. So in case y'all didn't know, we are siblings, and they say
unfortunately
siblings have different memories of life or whatever. And what I remember, or what I know about Christopher Reeve is, I don't in mine and my brother Bacon's lifetime, we only know Christopher Reeve as Paralyzed. Would you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am. I would wholeheartedly. Yes. No disrespect to him, but yes.
So we didn't grow up with him as our Superman. To be honest with you, we had two Superman. Well, apart from this new one, well, three actually. You had Brandon Routh in 2006 in Superman Begins. I think that's the name of the movie. Then you had Tom Welling.
No, it's Superman Returns. Superman
Returns. And then you had Tom Welling Smallville. And then we had Henry Cavill. And now we got this new dude who's playing Superman now, the one that just came out. But that's what we know about Christopher Reeve. As far as any movies, I've never seen Superman. It is on the list. His Superman, Christopher Reeve's Superman, is on our list. I promise we will see it as soon as we possibly can. But yeah, let's get started. So, I got my notes here, and we're going to talk a little bit about this documentary. So, I'm going to share my screen, and you guys are going to listen to me talk about this documentary and where it came from. This is from Wikipedia. You'll find all of this information in the show notes below. So here we go. Superman, the Christopher Reeve Story, is a 2024 documentary film about the life of American actor Christopher Reeve after a horse riding accident left him paralyzed, and his subsequent work as an activist for disability rights. The documentary was created by Ian Bonhôte and Peter Ettedgui. Sorry if I butcher that name, don't at me. Who co-wrote the script with Otto Burnham, and its title is in reference to Reeve's role as Superman in the 1978 to 1987 Superman films. I feel like some important things happened along that way. Anyways, what was that?
Can't remember.
Reeve's children, Alexandra Reeve Givens, Matthew Reeve, and Will Reeve are featured in the film. And a British-American venture, the film is a co-production by Wards Plus Pictures, Passions Pictures, and Misfits Entertainment, in association with Jenco Films and acquired for distribution by Warner Brothers Pictures, DC Studios, HBO Documentary Films, and CNN Films, and the streaming service Max. Superman, the Christopher Reeve Story, premiered on January 19th, 2024 at Sundance Film Festival and received limited theatrical release in collaboration with Fathom Events in the United States on September 21st and 25th, 2024. The film was wide released in North America on October the 11th. It was received universal acclaim from critics and audiences alike, and was named one of the top five documentaries of 2024 by the National Board of Review. Among other accolades, it won Best Documentary Award at the British Academy Film Awards, or the British Film Academy, and the Producers Guild of America, and won 6 awards at the Critics' Choice Documentary Awards. So, that's a little bit about that. So, did you take any notes on this film?
Well, there were several, but I'm going to touch on them as we go because there was one thing that I really wanted to touch on, and that is that as big of a Superman fan that I am, and this is kind of like, since we're still in the beginning, I'm going to say this, being the huge Superman fan that I am, I've only actually seen the first Superman movie and then the Superman Returns with Brandon Routh, is that his name? I've only seen those two. I've not seen Superman 2, Superman 3, or Superman 4. So
Me neither.
I couldn't tell you what happens in there. I was never able to watch it because I was told that Richard Pryor was in the fourth one, and my mom wasn't a Richard Pryor fan, so I was never able to watch it. But now as an adult, I would love to sit and watch all the movies back to back and give my thoughts and overall opinions, which hopefully we'll be doing soon. So
yeah. So the first thing I noticed and that I have written down in my notes is I said it's kind of weird seeing him standing, breathing, and walking. And I think that's again because in our lifetime, we saw Christopher Reeves as paralyzed. But this documentary begins with Christopher Reeve has a difficult childhood. His parents divorced at a young age, and his family tree being complicated due to his parents' several remarriages, and he had a very strained relationship with his father, Franklin. And then, boom, literally the first 20 minutes, they got to get you right in your feels, because the next thing that I wrote down is it opens with his son blowing out candles on a cake because it was his son Will's 3rd birthday when he got injured.
Was it 3rd or was it 2nd?
I think I haven't written. Well, I think it's his 3rd, but I don't remember. I can't remember exactly. But that was my first note, and then my second note that I wrote was that big, beautiful smile, because it was. But also at this time, while Christopher Reeve is studying in Juilliard, he becomes close friends with Robin Williams. And to me, this documentary is also about Robin Williams. And before I ever saw this documentary, I would have never guessed these two were best friends. Not in a million years.
I knew this. And the reason I knew this, the reason I knew this is because it was mentioned, and I think Robin had said this when Christopher Reeve died. He says, "I'm going to miss you." He says, "You're my brother and my friend." He's like, "I'm always going to miss you." That's what he said.
Like, I would have never guessed that these two, like, would have been friends or, like, had anything in common. Okay, not in common. That was a little harsh. But I'm just saying, like, they're like peanut butter and jelly. Like, they shouldn't go together, but they go together. You know what I'm saying? So then the next thing that I learned.
Some bacon.
Okay, so the next note that I wrote, that I remember from the documentary, was that Christopher Reeve was allergic to horses, and according to his daughter, he always took antihistamines for months because he was making a movie about being a jockey, which again, it was so hard for me to like see Christopher Reeve walking around, breathing, talking, and then. But I also think that this movie did something else that I didn't know was that Christopher Reeve was very, very, very tall.
Mm-hmm.
About 6'5".
I think he's the tallest Superman on record, other than Tom Welling.
Yeah.
Because I think Tom Welling is like, what, 6'2"?
Yes. All right. So the next note that I made was that the accident happened in May of 1995. Chris falls off the horse and he becomes paralyzed and can't breathe on his own.
Now, I want to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Do you remember how they said that this happened? Because I remember hearing it a different way. The way it's told in the documentary is not the way I remember hearing it.
So I don't remember actually hearing about what exactly happened. The only thing that I remember was that he fell off a horse and he was paralyzed. But the documentary says that he was riding, he had his hands in the stirrups or in the reins, and that when the horse went to jump, he spooked, and that Chris fell over and he fell in an awkward position, and it's called a hangman's break. And he's like, they literally, I think the medical or something on there, I wrote it down, said that like his spine was completely severed and that he literally should not have woken up. Anyways, so after the accident, the next scene that I made a note on is that they're in the hospital. He wakes up in the hospital and he has a self-realization that this is it. I can't move my body. Why am I here? How is this happening? And this is on his son's 3rd birthday, which was 2 weeks. 2 weeks after the accident, and they had his birthday party in the ICU because. Also, this story is about Christopher Reeve's second wife, Dana, who, if you ask me, is a saint. We'll talk about her momentarily, but so the first thing that he says to his wife when he sees her is that maybe we should let me go. And that was the first thing that he said when he saw his wife. And then she said something like, I think she said, well, I said for better, for worse, and you're still you and I love you, which, boom, sainthood. And then we have a little comic relief where Robin Williams goes to see him in the hospital in scrubs and told him that he was a proctologist. And he was there for his exam, and that was the first time, in Christopher Reeve's own voice, said that was the first time since the accident that he had laughed. And then the documentary jumps to 1973, where they're casting for Superman, and and Chris's father didn't approve of him becoming Superman because, you're supposed to be like, whatever. And then the next note that I wrote that I remembered from this sorry, I had a brain fart.
Documentary.
The next part of this documentary is on June 28th. They transferred him to the Kessler Institute in Virginia. I'm sorry, I didn't write down the locations. It's been
I think you're right. I think it was in Virginia, yes.
It's been a minute because I've had this written down for a while, but we just haven't gotten to it. And then they confirmed that he has a really bad spinal cord injury. And that the next clip is a clip of, we see Rear Window. Have you ever seen the movie Rear Window?
No, but I've seen Secret Window with Johnny Depp.
Yes, me too. And then well-wishers and everybody, like celebs, come out, blah, 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 blah. Then the documentary goes into Chris working out to get his body for Superman. And he's like lifting weights and he's looking all dashing and dapper. And I also noted all his kids look like him, especially his youngest.
They do.
Did you know his son Will is going to be in the new Superman movie?
Yeah, he's a reporter, ironically.
The multiverse? As if the multiverse isn't telling us something?
I'm telling y'all right now, I'm standing by this. Had him and Adam West been alive, they would have been some part in the movie The Flash.
Yes. Again, the multiverse. So in 1977, he marries his first wife, the model Gay Exton, and it's love at first sight. She's this pretty little, like, wispy blonde lady. It's like, anyways, moving right along.
I thought I knew her from something, but I didn't think I knew her from anything.
She was a model. I don't know if she was as big as like other models of the time, because I think that was the first time I'd ever heard of her. Again, I could be wrong. If you guys know more about it, let me know.
Mm-hmm.
The next note that I have was that he went home 7 months after the accident, and his care was incredibly expensive. They had to redo their whole house to make it wheelchair accessible, and then straight after him coming home, he made an appearance at the 1996 Academy Awards, and he got a standing ovation. It's also said at this point that along with his expensive care, that Robin Williams really took care of him a lot and like paid the bills and like all of that.
That's why Robin was working all those movies. Like, he was taking movies that he didn't even want, like The Birdcage and stuff.
Don't ever say that about the Birdcage ever.
His words, not mine.
All right, we'll see. All right, so the next thing that really got me that I wrote in my notes was that the transporting him, because a lot of these places did not have wheelchair access. But Robin Williams and his wife Zelda bought him the custom van for his wheelchair. And I have it written down somewhere, but there's a one.
Hold on. Mistake was made. It was Martha, not Zelda. Zelda's his daughter.
Sorry, I stand corrected. Then the next thing that I remember from this documentary is at one point Christopher Reeve said that he met so many wonderful hotel staff and staff from stadiums and venues because he had to go through the back door so they could get the wheelchair and everything in, because that's where the ramps were or whatever. And I was like, that's kind of sad, but like at the same time, like that's humanity. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which I wrote it down as going into hotels or places through the kitchens. He liked meeting the servers and the staff. Okay, I don't remember what part this is, but there's you have to read this note. I wish you could see this note because it's cracking me up. It says, Robin Williams, stop, please. That's all I wrote. I have no idea what's happening in context to that, but I just wrote Robin Williams, stop, please.
Oh, I think it was when they were doing the dinner show and he was doing all his bits and whatever.
Maybe. I don't know, but literally, that's the only note.
One second, if I jump off here, I'm trying to come in on my computer. So if I jump off here, just know that I'm coming in over there. So.
And then this was also a surprise. Jeff Daniels, friend. Also, Whoopi spoke. Susan Sarandon, Glenn Close. And I wrote, okay, are you ready for this part? Jeff Daniels, friend. Also, Whoopi, Susan Sarandon, Glenn Close, thirsting over him. Literally the note. I'm sorry, it wrote itself. It did. It wrote itself.
Facts.
And then, of course, we see the birth of his first son, Matthew, and he wants to be a better parent than his parents, everybody's dream. And then his daughter, Alexandria, was also born like 2 years later. she speaks a lot in this documentary. She looks a lot like her mom, who's gay, Exton. As far as what I seen, she spoke a lot in this documentary about things that she remembered, but she's sort of like the middle child. So there's that.
I thought she was the oldest. She's the youngest, or the middle?
She's the middle.
Okay.
And then Christopher Reeves gets back in the saddle, and he directs the film In the Gloaming with I think Whoopi Goldberg's in it, and I think Glenn Close is in it. Have you ever seen that movie?
No, I've never even heard of it until the documentary, to be honest with you.
It's one of those like HBO like movies that they used to do in the 90s. Like, it's like these like women, not like chick flicks, but these were like woman type of films. Like,
right, got you.
It was that. It was like If These Walls Could Talk. What was that other one? Anyways, you get the point.
Yeah, I did.
Then the next thing is we see a clip of Chris speaking at the DNC in 1996. This is also something that's worth mentioning. Several times that he spoke at Democratic national conventions regarding cuts to Medicaid and how to navigate insurance and things like that, which is something that you don't ever really hear a lot of people talking about, which I'm glad they mentioned because I always wondered about it, but here it was. And then, of course, you get the breakup with the first wife or whatever. And then he meets Dana, who, she's got the most beautiful brown, like, reddish hair. She's sort of that all-American girl. Like, when you think of that quintessential, like, girl next door, at least to me, this is what Dana Reeve looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's sweet. Oh my God, this woman is a saint. Like, she was like, the kids are with her. Like, she had his 2 other kids in the house with them, and she's smiling, but she's kind of letting Chris have his moment with his 2 older kids. Like, she's present. You know what I'm saying? In that one clip. And she's like smiling or whatever, like kind of making sure everyone is like having their own time, which I really love. Like, she's there in the present, but she's not like hovering or like throwing a fit or throwing a tantrum or like being too much. She's just enjoying the moment. She's just letting the kids have the time with their dad and like all of that. And then the next thing was in 1998. She started the Christopher Reeve Foundation. And Robin Williams was on the board, and so was Barbara Walters. I mean, Baba Wawa. If you know, you know.
And I wonder how Robin Williams got on there.
Exactly. My next note was stem cell research is a good thing. That's it. No context. There'll be no further questions.
Question: Do you think if they ever find a way to fix, to get through the stem cell research, you think they'll ever find the cure for muscular dystrophy?
It's a possibility.
I mean, with all the advances in medical science, who knows?
I would like for that to be cured in my lifetime, but the odds of it, no, I don't think so.
Very scarce.
The next note I made was a lot of people giving him crap about not really accepting his disability or his handicap and like wanting him to shut up and stay in the corner and be like, "Oh, I'm disabled," like
and
he didn't
it was
accept
me
it
or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, hold on, let me get my battery. Let me plug in the cord. My battery's low. Hold on, you guys.
Pause this for a second. I'm gonna get up. Pause this for a second. I'm gonna get up.
Hold on. Okay, so where were we? Okay, so
I forgot.
Meeting his wife. They met in 1987. This is meeting Dana. She was a singer, and they warned her against going out with Christopher Reeve because he apparently, didn't have a good track record with women, but it was love at first sight, and then they got married in 1993, and then Will was born.
Yep.
Literally, that was like all the last notes.
Here's my pictures.
In 2000, and then this jumped around a lot, but this is the last part I think I have. So my next notes that I wrote was in 2001, he started to regain small elements of movement, like in his fingers. And then there's a lot of great home video footage of Robin Williams in this film. And in 2001, he directs the Brooke Ellison story, which you were talking about earlier. And, there was this sweet clip of when he taught his son, Will, how to ride a bike just by talking to him, like explaining to him what he had to do.
No, have you ever seen that movie, The Brooke Ellison Story? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I've never seen it.
I've seen it. It was really good. I cried at the end.
Anyways, back to his son riding the bike. Literally, it makes sense because, like, they just expect you to do it. I'm like, sir, what do you want me to do? I don't know how to ride a bike. Like, what do you mean hold my balance? I don't understand what that means. And then I was like, he gave an explanation, and I was like, why did no one say that to me when I was trying to learn how to ride a bike? Because, like, what?
Because our chubby fat asses kept falling over. We kept slumping and one side falling over.
I could probably do it now because I'm grown and I understand how it works. But when you're like 6 and you have all the like anxiety and ADHD, like, what is that supposed to mean? You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
All right. Okay, so
sorry if it's sounding a little muffled, y'all. It's all over the place.
You sound good. There's no problems. So the last couple of notes that I wrote down was Christopher got sick. He was taken to the ICU. It's October, by the way. This is October 2004. Some stuff happened between that. We'll get into that later because I just wanted to read these notes and then discuss. Everyone says goodbye. Robin speaks at the funeral. There was a sweet moment where his wife Dana, speaking at the gives a eulogy at Chris's funeral. Then they showed the empty wheelchair that they gave away, and then they gave the custom-made van away. And then this documentary ends with his wife Dana discovers she has lung cancer. And 18 months after Christopher Reeve's death, she dies. And to that I say, fuck you, God, because what the fuck do you mean?
Yeah, we said it.
What the fuck do you mean, sir? This woman had just literally started her life with her husband, and then there was a tragic accident, and she had to go through all that. And then on top of that, he dies. And then on top of that, you're like, you know what? I don't think you suffered enough. Lung cancer. Fuck you. That's why I say, fuck you. Immediately, fuck you. She gets lung cancer, and everyone's like, we don't know where she got it from. She never smoked in her life. She was a singer. And she didn't even know she had it. That's how bad it was. She just started feeling like a tickle in her throat and a cough.
And I don't think he was a smoker either that I know of.
Maybe at the time, I don't think he was smoking in the house anymore, but I don't remember seeing videos of him smoking anywhere near.
I don't think he ever was.
I don't either. He was too athletic for that. But that was the Christopher Reeve story, the Superman. So, what were your thoughts on this documentary?
Well, first of all, my thoughts is like, I loved how they showed him and Robin, together and being like almost brothers, like seriously. And there were so many photos of like him as Mork, and then like Christopher Reeves is like Superman. Like it was just like almost intertwined. Which, by the way, I was thinking about that. I was like, it's almost intertwined. Mork and Superman.
They're neighbors.
Yeah.
Krypton's next to Orc. What was the name of? Was it the planet Orc?
It's the planet Orc.
Yeah. So they're like right next to each other.
And its sister planet KO-35 is where the Power Rangers are from.
Yeah. I have no idea who they are, but anyways, no, I do know who they are. So yeah, the documentary is good. I thought I was gonna cry a little bit more than I did. I have to be honest with you. I actually cried more during the My Mom Jane, the Mariska Hargitay documentary about Jane Mansfield. But yeah, I recommend Bacon. Do you have anything else you want to say?
That was it. She said I love that documentary, and if you guys get a chance, please go check it out because it was an amazing documentary.
And this week, if not next week, we're going to be doing Terms of Endearment and its sequel, The Evening Star. So
for that one, she wants to make my big old fat ass cry.
Not a lot of people know that movie has a sequel. But I can't tell which one I like the most. I kind of think I like Evening Star better. But anyways, we'll discuss next week. Anyways, it's been fun. But I think Bacon Krypton, Baconite, and Pickles Krypton are going to go now. So, okay, bye!
Bye!